Choke points.
Let's go.
Brought to you by Acton's Quality Roofing. Last week, our traffic team put a short driver's test up at mynorthwest.com just to check your knowledge of the rules of the road and the results. The results were terrible. So let's go to Chris with the results and the driver's manual.
Well, I'm a little shocked, to be honest, by these results, but I guess I really shouldn't be, considering what we all see out there on the roads every day. To pass the written test in Washington, you need to get 80% of the 40 questions correct on that written test. We asked 13 questions. Only 31% of the nearly 1,100 respondents passed the test.
Say that again.
31%
Yikes.
passed, 69% failed.
Were
and
people,
that's
were people
nearly
messing with you think?
No, I don't think so. I think they asked, we gave them honest multiple choices to choose from, a couple of true and falses. You know, some of them were a little, interesting. They're in terms of distances you have to leave between
Those were the
things
hard
like that.
ones.
Those are kind of difficult. But again,
And it's unscientific. Let's remember.
yeah, of
that.
course.
This is-
And I think at one point the most common number of correct answers was 5 out of 13, which is a little scary. But of course, I'm not here to condemn.
No.
I'm here to help and to educate. So, it is time for class.
I feel triggered.
Yeah,
go.
sorry. Time for class. Time to get after it. The question people missed the most was on how much room you must give a bicyclist when passing them in a car.
Yeah.
Only 42% of that people got this one right. The answer is 3 feet.
I'm glad people guessed more.
Yeah, that's,
6
I mean,
feet, which is what I guessed.
most people guessed a lot more. And it's totally fine to give bicyclists more room. That's totally fine. But the law is only 3 feet. So that a lot of people missed that one. Only 51% of people got this one right. How long can you stay in a left turn lane before making that turn? Dave said, I can get in there whenever I want to and just keep on going to Tukwila, and then I
Okay.
can make my turn.
Can I just say something here?
Yes.
When you said left turn, I thought you meant like a designated left turn lane. You're talking about a two-way left turn lane, right?
Which, correct, which in a lot of cases in the suburbs where I run into this a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
eventually becomes a left turn with an
At a
arrow
signal,
at a
yeah.
signal. And so when it backs up, people get in that thing
Well, that's
and
why I got
go
that.
and go
If you're
and
talking
go.
about the two-way left turn lane, like out here on East Lake, right?
And that's what I said, a left turn lane,
No,
not a
you
left
said-
turn exit. It's a left
You
turn
said
lane.
left turn lane instead of two-way left turn lane. You see?
Is this how you were in school?
Yeah. Because when the questions were wrong, I wasn't going to let it go. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, the answer is 300 feet.
Okay.
That lane cannot be used for passing. So we see that one all the time. Let's talk following distance now. How much space should you leave between the car in front of you and your car? According to the driver's manual, you should give yourself 4 seconds between you and the car in front of you. Only 56% of people got that one right. I know as we drive on the freeway, when does anybody give anyone 4 seconds? Just so you know, you can judge that by picking a spot where the car in front of you passed, then start counting 1001, 1002. If you reach that spot before seconds, you're way too close.
Can I ask you a question,
Yes,
teacher?
by all means.
If you give somebody 4 seconds and then somebody cuts in front of you, making it only 2 seconds,
Got to back up.
Yeah, you better
just
lay
gotta
off
back
to
up.
4 seconds.
Is that legal? When you're giving somebody the legal 4 seconds and then somebody cuts in and makes it 2 seconds, they're the ones who've broken the law.
That
aren't
is
they?
well, no, they just merged and got over correctly. And again, 4 seconds. I mean, let's be fair. These are the rules of the road. A question they might ask. In practicality, you're not going to get pulled over for not giving 4 seconds. But again, that's one, and that's why I told you a lot of these ones with numbers are what got you. Cell phone use. Now, we all know that holding our phones while driving is illegal. Well, we all know that. We don't all do it. 40% of test takers didn't realize that you can put your phone in your hand to report illegal activity. If you see something going on, or if you've got an emergency, or if need medical attention, you can grab your phone and call 911. That is totally fine. A lot of people didn't think you could do that. So that's something to keep on. And then the final one I'll go over is the use of high beams. We get a lot of complaints about the new and high-intensity lights, which are just normal, but a lot of drivers are out there with their high beams on all the time, and that can be really dangerous. I see it all the time. Only 63% of people got this one right. You need to turn your brights off within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle, 300 feet of a vehicle that's, if you're coming up behind them. So just, those are things it's more etiquette-y kind of things, and drivers, because if you don't want to get that close and be blinding somebody with your brights.
Is this accurate? One thing I learned, because it's like, okay, what's 500 feet when you're driving, right? Like, who's doing those maybe it's just me, but I think it was a driver instructor told me the distance between two telephone poles is typically 100 feet.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe somebody can confirm on the text line. So that's what I judge too, because you're supposed to turn your blinker on to indicate
within 100
a turn
feet.
within 100. So I always go, okay, between two telephone poles.
My good rule of thumb when it comes to, flicking your brights off is once you see the headlights in front of you, just, or if you if you anticipate that you see the bright lights coming, say, up over a hill, turn them off beforehand so the person doesn't get blinded. Now.
Oh, wait, here's something helpful. A texter from 425 said reflectors are set to 4 seconds on the side of the road. I'll have to check that out. That's interesting.
Reflectors?
We were talking about, sometimes there's those reflective bumps. I think that's what they're talking about.
Kind of like the blue ones.
Right.
That's helpful to me, because when you say four seconds or 500 feet, like, that's not the way my brain works.
Remember, that's distance. So at what speed are they 4 seconds?
Exactly.
Right.
At the speed limit, you would think. Now, of course, I've been a long proponent of us taking the written exam every 10 years for us to keep our licenses. I think this survey, though small, shows that a lot of people really don't know some very important rules of the road. So what I've done is I put an updated link at mynorthwest.com to the 2023 Washington Driver's Manual, which I'm holding in my hand.
Oh, they're scrambling to download it right now.
It's not a bad idea to just peruse this thing from time to time, just to remind yourself.
Tests. Let's do like a every other week pop quiz, man.
I didn't want to get to it because I didn't want to harp on it, but one of the ones that other people, a lot of people did miss too, but I think they're getting better at it. It was only 26% missed it, is when you can pass a school bus legally, when its lights are flashing. And people get that wrong all the time. Once again, with a double left turn lane in the middle of the road, you can do it going the opposite direction. It's totally fine. There's no reason to stop there. But again, I understand people want to be safe around kids. I get it. But these are rules of the road that can, if done incorrectly, can lead to other problems like road rage and things like that.
I forget which street it is, but it's in Edmonds where, see, Dave raised his hand. I didn't. I just start talking,
That's why you're going to the principal's office.
I know. Yeah, that's the history of my life. Welcome to Marysville. That there's a road in Edmonds where there's 2 lanes, one direction, 2 lanes, another, plus a middle lane, and people still stop on the opposite side. And so, go ahead, Dave.
On a somewhat related matter, teacher.
Yes.
Don't you think the driver's test should also include some sort of anger management training?
I've noticed in the manual there is actually something in here about managing emotions while you're driving. I think that should be a very important part of teaching people to drive. The number one rule that I would say on that is we have a tendency to put intent on other drivers when they're probably just not paying attention. And that's the last thing you want to do. Like, that person cut me off. Oh, you cut me off. No, they probably just didn't even realize they're in their own space. We don't ascribe intent to people because that causes unnecessary anger and frustration.
Yeah, I think cars should be equipped with a yellow "I'm sorry" light on the back of the car.
That's sweet.
So if you see the Joe, oh my gosh, I didn't see you there, I cut you up. Okay, pink.
In addition to the one-finger salute that I see from a lot of drivers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or polite waves. Whatever happened to polite waves? I feel like those went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Chris.
Yeah. Well, again, we could all do better.
For flunking all of us.
Not all of us. Speak for yourself.
So much for my post-bac degree.